My dear children, my lovely friends, I'm going to confess something to you today. I'm Scott. I'm 82 years old, and I made a huge mistake in my life. No, I didn't make a bad investment in the stock market, nor did I make a decision that would cause me to lose my company. My mistake was much simpler, and perhaps that's why it's so much more painful. I bought a car for $35,000, and that single decision cost me $2,100,000. Yes, you heard right. A car. $2 million. Now sit down, grab a coffee, and listen to me. Because this story could be your story. Today we won't let that happen. I was a young man, 28 years old. I had a brilliant career. I was earning $65,000 a year as a software engineer. A good salary, right? I had a car, a 12-year-old Honda. A few scratches, sometimes the air conditioning wouldn't work, but the engine was solid. It did the job. But every morning on my way to work, I would see the new cars, especially that gray Tesla Model 3. It would be sitting at the charging station, gleaming in the sunlight. And a voice started inside me. "You deserve this, Scott," it said. "You're making good money, why not?" One Saturday morning, I went to the dealership just to look. You know how we tell ourselves, "I'll just look." But the salesman smiled and handed me the keys. "Let's take a test drive," he said. At that moment, my brain shut down. First, the thought center deactivated. I just felt it. That technology, that feeling, that silent acceleration. $35,000, a large sum. But the salesman added, "We have a zero-interest campaign, only $595 a month." And that's where I fell into the trap. My brain can't process large numbers, but it looks at small monthly figures and says, $595, I can afford that. But the real question is it sensible to spend $35,000? Because it's not just $35,000, my children. The car industry only shows you the price of the car, but the real cost is only the tip of the iceberg. I signed. 6 years, $595 a month. I was very happy the first month. My friends said, "Wow, a Tesla." I posted a picture on Instagram, and it got 200 likes. But in the second month, the insurance bill arrived, $200 a month. I was shocked. And I was paying $90 at Honda. The salesman hadn't mentioned that. In the third month, the charging bill arrived. Installing a charging station at home cost $1,200. My monthly electricity bill increased by $50. In the fourth month, the first service, $150. In the fifth month, the tires needed changing, $800 because Tesla tires are special. In the sixth month, I did the math and saw the truth. This car was costing me $950 a month. Car loan, $595. Insurance, $200. Charging, $50. Maintenance and tires averaging $105. But the real tragedy begins now, my dear friends. Because there was something I forgot. Depreciation. The car loses value the moment I buy it. And I bought it for $35,000. The moment I walked out of the dealership, its value dropped to $30,000. $5,000 vanished in a single day. At the end of the first year, the car was worth $28,000. 2 years later, $25,000. 3 years later, $22,000. 6 years later, when the loan was paid off, the car was worth $18,000. I paid $35,000, and I have an $18,000 car. $17,000 evaporated. But it's not over yet. Insurance I paid in 6 years. $14,000. Maintenance, tires, repairs. $6,000. Electricity. $3,600. Any total. $35,000 plus $14,000 plus $6,000 plus $3,600 equals $58,600. In 6 years, I spent $58,600 and I have an $18,000 car. Net cost, $40,600. In 6 years. But now let's look at the opportunity cost, my children. What if I had invested that $35,000 in an S&P 500 index fund instead of a car? 6 years later, with an 8% return, it would be $55,600. But I didn't just buy a car once. 6 years later, when my car got old, I bought a new one. Another $35,000. And this cycle continued. I was 28 years old. I was going to retire at 65. I was going to work for 37 years. And every 6 years, I was going to buy a new car. 37 years means 6 car changes. OT, a net cost of $40,000 each time. 6 times 40,000 equals $240,000. Total money I would spend on cars in my lifetime, $240,000. But now let's look at the alternative scenario. I continue to use my old Honda. Maintenance costs $1,200 a year. Insurance is $90 a month, $1,080 a year. Total annual cost, $2,400. In 37 years, total cost, $88,800. And I invest the $950 I would pay to Tesla each month. 37 years, with an 8% return. Do you know how much that money is worth? $2,100,000. Yes, Ian, you heard right. I gave up $2 million by buying a new car. Did I want a shiny car or early retirement? You can't have both, my dear friends. But there's a deeper truth. The car industry sells you freedom, but it actually sells you slavery. Look at the commercials. Cars going through mountains, free winds, open roads. The message is, this car will set you free. But the reality is the opposite. That car binds you to debt for 6 years. You pay $595 every month. You can't quit your job because you have a car loan. You can't take risks because you have a car loan. You're not free, you're chained, and that's where the happiness mill kicks in. The first month I'm very happy. The excitement of the new car is a 10 out of 10. But after 3 months, the car becomes normal. My happiness level drops to a 7. After 6 months, the car is just a vehicle. My happiness level drops to a 6. But the loan payments, they never drop. Every month, $595. For 6 years. Why did I want a new car? Because others were driving one. Because I saw one on Instagram. Because my neighbor bought one. People don't buy cars because they need them. They buy them because they want to send a status signal. 100 years ago, sociologist Thorstein Veblen described this as conspicuous consumption. Cars are bought to say, look, I'm successful. But what is real success? Being debt-free, having investments, having options. And the car industry knows this very well. The most profitable customer for them is the one who constantly buys new cars, because every 6 years, you buy a brand new car and lose $17,000 in depreciation. That's a perfect business model for the industry, not for you. According to the American Automobile Association, the average new car owner spends $9,282 a year on a car. Loans, insurance, fuel, maintenance, depreciation. That's $770 a month, and most people think that's normal. But it's not normal, my kids. It's crazy, because if you invest that $770 for 40 years, with an 8% return, it becomes $2,700,000. While you're driving, that money is flying out of your retirement fund. And research shows that people with car debt have 40% higher stress levels, because you have to make that payment every month. Even if you lose your job, the payment keeps going. Even if you get sick, the payment keeps going. A car seems like an asset, but it's actually a liability. Then I'm not just losing $2 million on a car. What could I have done with that money? I could have retired 10 years early. I could have paid for my kids' college education. I could have put a down payment on a house. I could have traveled the world. But I gave up all of those options for a shiny car. 3 years later, I realized that car was too expensive. But I thought, I already paid $35,000, I'll lose money if I sell it now. So I kept going. I completed 6 years. Then I bought a new car. The cycle repeated, because the brain tries to justify past decisions. But the economically correct thing is, if a decision is wrong, stop it immediately. Past costs don't come back, but you can avoid future costs. So what's the solution, my dear friends? Here's the car strategy. Step 1. Buy used, not new. 2 or 3 years old. Low mileage, a reliable brand. Toyota Camry, Honda Accord. Price, $15,000. Depreciation has already happened. You're not incurring the loss. Step 2. Pay cash. Don't take out a loan. No loan, no interest, no monthly payment stress. If you don't have cash, you can't buy a car. Save up, then buy. Step 3. Use it to the end. Use the car for 10-15 years. 200,000 kilometers and beyond. Maintain it, repair it, but don't replace it. Step 4. Investment difference. Invest the difference between your new and old car, which is $20,000. And transfer that money to your investment account each month, as if you were making car payments. Step 5. The real cost calculator. Before every car decision, look not just at the purchase price, but at the total cost of ownership, insurance, fuel, maintenance, depreciation. Calculate it all. Step 6. The 10-year test. Ask yourself, will I be happy with this decision 10 years from now? A new car will lose its excitement after 3 months, but your investment account will have doubled in 10 years. Which would you choose? Let me tell you a true story. I knew a woman. She was 32 years old, a teacher, earning $48,000 a year. All her friends drove new cars, but she drove a 12-year-old Toyota Corolla. People looked at her with pity. They said, "You deserve it if you buy a new car." But she did the math. New car, $900 a month. Old car, $200 a month. Difference, $700. He invested those $700 for 15 years. Now he's 47. He has $300,000 in his investment account. His friends are still paying off car loans. He, on the other hand, has switched to part-time work. Because he has a choice. He's free. People ask him, "Don't you regret it? You always drove old cars." He smiles and says, "No, because the car gets me from A to B. But my investments took me from stressful work to freedom, which is more valuable. Here it is, my children. A car is a means of transportation. Its purpose is to get you from one place to another, but we've turned it into an identity, a status symbol, a measure of success. And this perception is impoverishing us, because real wealth isn't owning a new car. Real wealth is not having a car loan. Real wealth is being able to quit your job whenever you want. Real wealth is having choices. The math is very clear. I bought a new car. I lost $2 million. If I'd kept the old car, I could have gained $300,000. A difference of $2,700,000 for a car decision. Now you decide, my dear friends. The bright lights of the showroom or early retirement. Impressing the neighbors or securing your future. Because you can't have both. The math doesn't allow it. And the math doesn't care about your feelings. It just shows the truth. And the truth is, when the car industry sells you a new car, it's actually stealing your retirement. Every 6 years, $17,000 in depreciation loss. Every month, insurance, maintenance, fuel. After 40 years, $2 million have vanished. And what are you left with? A 12-year-old car. But the difference is this. If I'd started with the old car and saved $300,000, I would be free. I started with new cars and ended up at zero. We ended up in the same place, but one is free, the other is in debt. Which side would you rather be on? Because this isn't just a car decision, my children. This is a life decision, and you are free to make that decision. But you will also live with the consequences of your decision. For 37 years, I am 82 years old. Looking back, I wish I hadn't bought that Tesla. I wish I'd kept my old Honda. Because now I understand. That car didn't give me freedom. It put chains on me. But you, my dear young people, still have time. You don't have to make this mistake. I did, don't you? There's something more valuable than money. Freedom. And freedom comes from being debt-free. Remember, my dear friends, the richest person is not the one with the most money, but the one who needs the least. And an unnecessary car loan is definitely not a need. Listen to this old man's words, because I am sharing with you the lessons of 82 years of life. And if I have learned anything, it is this: freedom is always worth more than a shiny car.